contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, there you go. You know it. It is so true. It does not matter who the host is. That is for sure. Anyways, today is Tuesday, May the 10th. Where has the time gone? Yeah, May the 10th of 2022. Day 130th of the year, and only 235 days left to go. So there you go. There you go. 235 is what we're looking at already as we are hanging and banging there. So, did you do anything that was super exciting last night that you would like to discuss? If you do, let's talk about it right away, about some of the things that are that we're able to do, able to discuss, able to move and groove and all that kind of fun stuff. So if you want to come in, hang out, and do some things, you're more than welcome on doing that here. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com, and that will get everything moving and grooving in our general direction. So there you go. Call in radio. Anyways, we are broadcasting live from our Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM. And then we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place that we do stuff at.
Radio.
Oh, yes. Hanging out with our friends at Radio Big FM. So, there you go. Anyway, so let's start talking right away about some of the things that are going on inside of this world of ours, because it is important. As you know, we like talking about the trends. So, let's start talking about what is trending right away, because that's going to be important for our convo today between you and I, for we can figure out the things that we need to talk about. So let's do that as we are hanging right now. Anyways, Nikolai Jovic was trending Monday after it was revealed that he will be the NBA MVP. So there you go. Hashtag Tony Awards landed on Twitter's top 10 trends on Monday as nominations were announced. James Cameron was trending after the trailer for the upcoming Avatar sequel, The Way of the Water, dropped. The Way of the Water dropped, you get it. So there you go. That was actually sequencing as well. So there you go. That was what was going on according to some of the charties yesterday, with some of the fun stuff going on there. So let's start talking about it right away, because this is something that we do on this day. We talk about what is going on in the fiction and nonfiction categories of the way of the radio, so don't worry about that. So let's talk about some of that. So top 5 songs according to Spotify was Justin Bieber with Ghost. Number 4 was Lizzo with About Damn Time. At number 3 was Harry Styles as it was. At number 2 was Jack Harlow with First Class. And at number 1 was Bad Bunny with Moscow Mule. According to iTunes, this is what the readout looked like over there. At number 5 was Hold My Hand by Lady Gaga. At number 4 was Taylor Swift, This Love. At number 3 was Nate Smith with Whiskey on You. Why did I want to read that as Whiskey on Tour? I don't know why I wanted to say that. What else? At number 2 was Lizzo with About Dad Time. And at the number 1 spot, according to iTunes, was Morgan Wallen with Thought You Should Know. So there you go. Thought You Should Know. So that's what was going on according to the charts that are going on over there. So if you are new to the show and not familiar with how we do some of our weirdness here, let me talk a little bit about it, because I think that that's going to be important. We talk about safety in the news and safety and all that kind of fun stuff. So don't worry about that. We will have some discussions on what is going on. We'll bring in some professional broadcasters. They'll tell you what's going on from their perspective. And then we do the razzle dazzle, the movie and go from there, and everything is good and ready to go. And that's how it works. That is the whole hangout of the show. And then I come back and tell you a little everything about what I'm thinking about, and then we go from there. So, what do you think? Like it? Good? Cool. Hang out with us. Let's move forward and bring in some professional broadcasters. I think it might be time to do that, and they can give you what is going on in the spiel of the world of the news. That is something we should do now.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
The lawyer for Brian Laundrie's parents says a lawsuit filed by Gabby Petito's family is likely an effort to get to his notebook. Mark Mayfield has more.
The New York woman was presumably killed by her boyfriend during a cross-country trip that the pair were documenting on social media. The Petito family filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the Brian Laundrie estate on Friday. This move follows a lawsuit filed by Petito's parents back in March, accusing Christopher and Roberta Laundrie of slowing the search for their murdered daughter. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen will tell the Senate Banking Committee today to be ready for more market fluctuations after stocks fell to a 52-week low on Monday. Fears about 40-year high inflation and worsening geopolitical conditions are shaking investors' confidence. The Dow fell more than 650 points Monday, losing 2% of value, and the Nasdaq lost 4.3%. The S&P 500 fell below 4,000 points for the first time since March of last year. The White House confirms President Biden is unhappy about U.S. intelligence leaks on Ukraine and Russia.
It was an overstatement of our role, an inaccurate statement, and also an understatement of the Ukrainians' role.
Press Secretary Jen Psaki called the leaks unhelpful and counterproductive. Biden talked with top intel and defense officials and complained about news reports involving U.S. intelligence sharing with Ukraine. Officials report finding a noose hanging on the Stanford University campus in California. Brian Shook reports.
In an email to the campus community, the school says they learned of the noose Sunday night. It was found in a tree outside an undergrad dorm, according to the San Francisco Chronicle. Sunday's discovery comes after two similar ones at the university in 2019 and 2021. In the letter, officials say the noose is a reprehensible symbol of anti-black racism and violence that will not be tolerated on our campus.
Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
From Feature Story News in Riga, I'm Ollie Barrett. Ukraine says one person's been killed and 5 injured in Russian missile strikes on Odessa. The EU's foreign affairs chief is chairing a major pledging event for Syria. India and China are again at loggerheads after Indian officials froze Chinese phone maker Xiaomi's assets worth more than $750 million. And Yoon Suk Yeol's been inaugurated as South Korea's president, bringing the Conservatives back to power.
Rated R Safety Show. Sarcastic? Never.
The lawyer for Brian Laundrie's parents says a third Supreme Court justice is being targeted in the fight for abortion rights. About 100 people gathered outside the Virginia home of Samuel Alito last night. He's the one who wrote the opinion leak last week about overturning Roe v. Wade soon. More rallies are expected. And students in the Washington, D.C. area are making their voices heard in support of Roe v. Wade after walking out of class on Monday. One student says she's always been passionate about women's rights.
I wanted to organize this to remind people to continue to show up.
High school students across Virginia held walkouts at 45 schools for abortion rights. The Senate is poised to take up an abortion rights bill this week. Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says they'll vote on a federal law Wednesday.
No more running, no more hiding. The vote will shine light on every single one of us.
The last such effort failed to get enough votes, and Democrats are facing the same fate this time. An escaped inmate could be back behind bars in Alabama by tomorrow. He was caught yesterday in Indiana with a corrections officer accused of helping him walk out of jail almost 2 weeks ago. But Vicky White is now dead. Law enforcement officials say she shot herself in the head after a high-speed chase. President Biden will give a major speech on rising inflation today, and he's expected to target Republicans. Trey Thomas reports.
Americans are dealing with higher prices at the pump and for groceries as inflation rises to record levels not seen in decades. President Biden is expected to try and convince Americans he has the best plan to bring costs down while slamming Republicans as favoring the wealthy. Biden's poll numbers for handling the economy remain sharply negative. I'm Trey Thomas.
President Biden's nominee for ambassador to Ukraine goes before a Senate panel today. Bridget Brink is going to be asked about her plans for reopening the U.S. Embassy in the capital, possibly later this month. It closed just before Russia invaded 10 weeks ago. Wall Street futures are up sharply after Monday's big sell-off. I'm Michael Kastner.
We are now video streaming the Rated R Safety Show. I don't know why our host has a face for radio. Rated R Safety Show.
Hey, are you tired of hanging around and talking about safety in a boring kind of format? Well, I got something for you. If you haven't hung out with us yet at safetyfm.com, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Yeah, if you come out to Safety FM, you can come hang out with all kinds of safety professionals. Some are safety professionals, some are just people that are talking about safety. But we want to do it in a format that makes it fun and entertaining. If you're kind of trying to figure out what the FM portion is, well, we're a radio station and also a podcast network. You can come out, hang out, and listen to my show, The Jay Allen Show. You can listen to Todd Conklin with the pre-accident investigation, Blaine J. Hoffman with the Safety Pro, the Hop Nerd, Sam Goodman, just to name a few on what can be found on the station. Different things for different people, trying to bring safety in an entertaining form. SafetyFM.com. Go to the website, download the app, and carry it with you all day long. SafetyFM.com. We'll be waiting for you.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. Look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Hamilton the Pug, Instagram star, and shelter pet. Amazing adoption stories start in shelters. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
You make sure his toys don't have any sharp edges. You taught her what to do when the smoke alarm goes off. You do so much to keep your child safe. But are you using the right car seat for your child? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. For information on the right seat for your child, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
So you see, son, good manners are important. Should I go through it again?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, and excuse me. Sit up straight, hold doors open, don't speak with your mouth full, keep your elbows off the table. Share your things, play nice, and generally treat others the way you'd like to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
And stop picking your nose.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
I'm a retired school psychologist, and helping people was my thing. After my stroke, when Meals on Wheels started, I was on the other end of the stick, so to speak. My name is Julius Gaines, creative writer, poet, photographer.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Have you ever wanted to start live streaming and were not sure how to do it? You can start live streaming up to 40 social media platforms all at one time for as little as nada. It's going to cost you your time. That is what it's going to cost. You can pre-record, you can live stream, you can do a multitude of things. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to safetyfm.com/one. That's safetyfm.com, ONE.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show self-implode on our airwaves, only on Safety FM.
Okay, there you go. 17 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging and banging on this lovely Tuesday. So let's start talking right away about some of the things that are going on inside of the world of the multiverse. Yeah, because that's what we talk about around here. We talk about the multiverse. So let's go ahead and move it and go from there. So here we go, starting from the very top of the hit list. This is what we have going on. Escaped murderer Cassie Cole White and jailed jail guard Vicky White, no relations, but I'm sure they had relations. Were caught on Monday after a 10-day run. The pair were arrested in Indiana following a car chase that ended in a crash. A U.S. Marshal Service spokesperson. Oh, let's try that again. A U.S. Marshal Service spokesperson confirmed the news, stating that both Casey and Vicky were transported to a local hospital. Casey suffered minor injuries and appeared okay. Sheriff Dev Wedding told the Post. Vicky passed away on Monday night, succumbing to self-inflicted gunshot wound. So there you go. That's what was going on inside of there. So I don't know, some interesting stuff around there. I am sure we will talk to our professional side of the house. We can probably look at that real quick. And see what news we have. So, prison guard who helped the inmate escape has died. The correction officers who held the Alabama inmate escape custody is dead. Vanderbilt County Sheriff Dave Wedding tells CNN that Vicky Wife has died from injuries of self-inflicted gunshot wounds. She and the inmate Casey White were caught on Monday after a car crash. So, pretty much stuff that we were actually discussing inside of there. But man, what a whirlwind. And you know that that's probably going to be a TV movie or a movie in general, just because on how we tend to do some things around here. Let's be realistic and talk about that for a moment. So some things to give some consideración for, some things to give some serious consideration. Anyways, let's continue talking. An anonymous donor paid off the tuition of over 100 students who graduated this past weekend at Wiley College, a historical black college located in East Texas. The school president, Dr. Herman J. Felton Jr., wow, that's a long one, made the announcement during the commencement ceremony, informing the graduates that their remaining balances totaling $300,000 had been paid. Look at that. There is hope for society when it's all said and done anyways. Look at that. Somebody out of the kindness of their heart says, hey, $300,000, let's start you off debt-free. But I mean, the good thing about it is that they are willing to help and do that kind of fun stuff, but also the same portion too. I always get worried when things like that happen, and let me explain why. Not that I don't like the kindness of the world, but then, you know, you have those rarities in life where people have that thought where it's like, well, doesn't everybody deserve some moolah? Shouldn't there just be a handout? So I don't know. It's a good and a bad thing.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, so let's continue talking real quick about some other things that are going on inside of the world. The 3 American tourists who died at the luxury Sandals Emerald Bay Resort on the island of Exuma have been identified. Royal Bahamas Police Force Commissioner Paul Roll named the deceased during a press conference, identifying Robbie Phillips, 65, Michael Phillips, 68, from Tennessee, and Vincent, I'm going to butcher the last name here, Chirarella, 64, from Florida. The 3 were found dead in 2 separate villas at the resort last Friday, just hours after they sought medical treatment after feeling unwell, according to New York Post. Blood samples from the 3 have been sent to a lab in Philadelphia for a toxicology report. Well, I mean, here's the thing. That's going to be some interesting stuff to see how that ends up coming back. Let's just talk about that. Because now the question's going to become, what the hell happened? And if they weren't feeling well, what the hell was the cause? But I guess the toxicology will reference a little bit about that as we are talking. So there you go. Anyways, a massive asteroid is headed for a close approach in space terms to Earth. The rock, which NASA says is almost the size of the Empire State Building, will be about 3.5 million miles away when it passes. The space agency expects it to zoom by on Sunday, May the 15th. Oh, you know that people are going to be freaking out. 3.5 million miles. When you start thinking about it, you go, well, hold on. How close is that in space terms? Well, it's still 3.5 million miles. But, what is the closest thing? I don't know. That's going to be some things to talk about as we are hanging and banging, talking about all kinds of stuff. Anyways, I think it's around that time that we should do our Market Beat Minute and bring in some John Smalls and find out what the hell's going on out there.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Tuesday, May 10th, 2022. The sell-off on Wall Street gained momentum Monday with the S&P 500 falling roughly 3.5% at the low of the session and setting a new low below 4,100. This is the lowest level the index has traded in over a year and has the market set up for a much deeper fall. Now that the 4,100, 4,200 support level has been breached, there's a risk that traders and investors who've been buying will become sellers. In that scenario, the 4,100 will become strong resistance that could keep the market from moving higher over the next few quarters. The next big hurdle for the market will come with the release of the Consumer Price Index. It's expected to advance as much as 0.5% from the previous month and drive another 8% or greater increase in year-over-year inflation, on top of last year's mid-single-digit increase. The takeaway is that the CPI data will raise the stakes for the Fed and may lead them to bring a 75 basis point interest rate hike to the table. You can get the inside track at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for sharing your info and data with us with what the hell is going on outside of there. Yes, I am seeing your messages at callinradio.com. Thank you. When it comes to people killing themselves, especially because they're saying a self-inflicted wound on this lady, I am not sure if I want to repeat the comment. That's the comments that are in that box. So thank you for the comment, but I don't think that will be my subject matter of expertise in regards to talking about it. So there you go. Anyways, let's continue talking. Gas prices are once again on the rise. The national average of price per gallon was $4.32 as of Monday afternoon, according to AAA data. That's a 20-cent increase from a month ago and over $1 higher compared to last year. So here's what happens. The prices continue to go up. People are continuing to ask questions. What's happening with all this stuff that the government had said that they were going to do in regards to trying to help out? So there's going to be thousands of questions that are going to come about it around there. What are you seeing gas prices being in your area? That's always something to talk about as well, because that makes it always pretty interesting as we are talking and moving and all of that fun stuff. Anyways, let's talk about some other things that are going on inside of the world. So here we go, taking it from the top. Senate to vote on Wednesday on legalization of abortion. The U.S. Senate poised to take an abortion rights bill to up this week. Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says that he'll vote on federal law on Wednesday.
No more running, no more hiding. The vote will shine light on every single one of us.
The last such effort failed to get enough votes as Democrats are facing the same fate this time. The move comes after last week's leak of the Supreme Court draft opinion showing the justices are ready to overturn Roe v. Wade. Let's talk a little bit more about this in regards of this. So where do you think that this will end up falling, and how soon will all this kind of go by? Because that's going to be the other portion to talk about. That is for sure. Anyways, Utah teacher suspended after Tick-Tock video causes controversy. A Utah teacher is being investigated after posting a Tick-Tock video describing possible inappropriate conversations with students. Renaissance Academy teacher Jenna Hall has placed on administration leave after her video was widely circulated last week.
My kids from last year are now in 5th grade, and they come visit me almost every day after school. And a lot of them are queer because I am queer, and they figured it out, and so I've become their safe space.
So the video led calls of concerns from people who have with no connection to the charter school. The Academy Executive Director says the investigation is not focused on Hall's teaching, but rather her possibility of unprofessional behavior, having inappropriate conversation with former students. Renaissance Academy Executive Director Mark Usix says the investigation has nothing to do with the teaching of Hall herself.
There are some expectations under the umbrella of professionalism when it comes to boundaries, especially when you're working with young children. And establishing those and maintaining those is critical.
So there you go. Some investigations going on right there as we are speaking. Officers in Eagle Mountain crack down on speeders after death of a toddler. Utah County Sheriff's Department and Utah Highway Patrol are fed up with speeding in the Eagle Mountain area.
That's pretty much where we're at. It's a zero tolerance for speeding.
So there you go. Sergeant Brian Eccles of the Utah County Sheriff Office says the deputies and troopers conducted a crackdown on speeding following the death of 2 toddlers earlier this month. 67 drivers were caught speeding on May the 4th and 5th. One driver was cited for hitting 86 miles per hour in a 35 mile per hour zone. Eccles says that the crackdown is meant to educate new residents of the area about the need to slow down. Eagle Mountain resident Molly Van Wagner says that her family is leaving the area because there are too many unsafe drivers.
Not even just the speeding, but just inconsiderate drivers cutting people off, weaving in and out, trying to get ahead. And it's kind of killed it for us out here, really.
Kind of killed it out here for us, really? Wow, that's terrible wording. But here's the thing. This is the reason that I bring some of this up, because if you take a listen sometimes to some of the things that are going on in Utah, you come to the realization right away that there's other people that are experimenting with some of the same stuff in other areas. That's why I bring up a lot of news stories from there. So let's talk about that. They said 86 miles per hour in a 35 mile per hour zone, but the amount of 67 drivers were caught speeding. Now, it doesn't necessarily reference if they were all ticketed, but man, that is a lot of drivers going through some stuff. That is for sure. Anyways, a 15-year-old has been arrested for murder. Tips are credited for bringing a teen killer into Justin. Natalie Rodriguez has more information.
An arrest has been made in the deadly shooting of a 17-year-old last Wednesday in a Northwest Miami-Dade apartment complex. Thanks to anonymous tips, Miami-Dade and Fort Lauderdale police arresting a 15-year-old, charging him with second-degree murder. The teen was arrested at his home overnight in Fort Lauderdale. According to the arrest report, the teen got into an argument with the victim in the courtyard of the apartment complex and pulled a gun from his pants, killing the 17-year-old on the spot. Natalie Rodriguez, Miami.
I don't understand how there's any justification whatsoever with that. I mean, come on. What are we thinking here, people? Anyways, COVID fifth wave intensifying. The fifth wave of COVID pandemic is intensifying all across New York. All but 4 of the state's 62 counties are now considering high or medium risk for COVID spread. The New York City Health Commissioner, Dr. Ashwin, says that so far most of the COVID cases are mild.
Cases are certainly going up. Hospitalizations are also increasing. The encouraging news there is that our ICUs and severe illness is significantly low.
The CDC says that the Bronx, which is also a borough with the second lowest full vaccination rate in one of the counties currently, the lowest threat level, even as COVID cases load spike in New York City, is lifting the COVID-19 vaccine requirements for public school proms. However, the city officials strongly recommend students wear a high school quality mask at a prom. What the hell is a high school quality mask? Maybe somebody should explain that one to me, just to have a better a better understanding. Let me do one more before we get into our main story here. State enters agreement to clean up contaminant in Santa Susana Field Lab site. The Simi Valley, California, the state of California, and Boeing Corporation have reached a deal to clean up the contaminated Santa Susana Field Lab site, which hails the San Fernando and Simi Valleys. Daniel Martindale has more information.
The former rocket test site, once known as Rocketdyne, had a partial nuclear meltdown in 1959. Dozens of people who live in the vicinity of the field lab have since been diagnosed with cancer after being exposed to radioactive and chemical contamination. Boeing owns most of the Santa Susana Field Lab property. Some people who have been advocating for a soil cleanup for years say this agreement isn't what they want. They claim it holds Boeing less accountable for cleanup than a previous agreement that was signed in 2007 but never acted upon. I'm Daniel Martindale.
Oh, what an interesting turn of events when it comes to that. That's something to talk about. Thank you, Daniel Martindale, for sharing with us on what exactly is going on. Anyways, let's get into the next story because this is going to be known as our main one.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so getting into it, talking about it, moving and grooving and doing the things that we get to do around here. Let's do it right now as we are currently 32 minutes past the top of the hour and hanging out on this lovely Tuesday. So if you hang out in this field that I get to hang out in, let's talk about it because you've heard about it. You've heard some references to it. You've heard some people come about and maybe even offer it to you. And that is this all-encompassing predicting safety software. And you know how this goes. We are talking about software inside that you can put inside of your organization that gives you a breakdown of what is supposedly going to happen. Oh, yes, you know what I'm talking about here. So reduce your company's risk of costly accidents and error due to all kinds of different things that it can say. It says physical dangers, it references work environment and high risk habits, cognitive challenges is fatigue, high stress, and stakes that are related into the environment. This thing says that you can save billions, yes, with a B. I hope you make at least billions to be able to save some of this stuff. But this is some of the software that is out there. And we can't say that it's hitting the market. It's been out in the market for some time. And this software will go as far as supposedly being able to predict where your next catastrophic event could potentially occur as we are talking. Are you familiar with this? If so, you know, I guess the easiest way to probably give some explanation to this. Have you watched an older Steven Spielberg movie by the name of Minority Report? Maybe that's the easiest way that we can get into this. Also tying in the world of Philip K. Dick, who's the actual writer of the Minority Report. Not the screenplay, but the actual origin stuff. So this essentially is software that can tell you things that are going to happen. Now, if you watch the movie, they had some things called some precogs that they could actually tell you what criminal was going to do some kind of criminal activity next. Now, I'm not saying that it's going into that kind of scenario, but I mean, the fun part is that if you get too far into something along those lines, the police does actually use something called, Predpol. Predpol is something that is available that kind of tells you where they have to schedule some people based on some alternative facts that are actually inside of there and how to increase things. But let me kind of go back to what I was saying. If we start taking a look at some of this safety software that's out there, and some of the safety software that is predictive based on information that's supposedly on what's going to happen next. Now, you have to remember for this piece of software or these softwares to be able to work, and I'm saying you should remember, but if you've never heard of it, you're not going to remember this. For these softwares to work in the way that they're supposed to, it has to have the information of previous data. So you have to put in previous data of things that occurred to see what will happen in the future. Okay? So your past will tell you your future. So you are having predictive software. So the easiest way to say this, because I'm sure you've heard this term in one way, shape, or form, is garbage in, garbage out. So you're only as strong or as good as the data that you're entering into the system. Now, here's the other portion to it. Are you okay with a piece of software supposedly being able to predict your future? Now, think about this on a day in and day out basis. If you are an iOS user, your phone or your tablet tells you based on frequencies that this is what you're going to do next based on habits. Think about it. When you pick up your phone and you are about to do something, if you have this feature turned on, it says that normally around this time, this is what you do, and it will give you several samples, 2 or most of the times like 3 samples, let's just use it in that fashion, on what it expects you to do. It can be a text, it can be an app, it can be whatever that it's expecting you to do next, based on it that it is using machine learning and predictive text in regards of what you're going to do. Also, talking about predictive text, also think about this. When you are writing something via an email, or if you're writing something via text, you have predictive text inside of there where it's saying based on previous patterns of what you have, words that you've used, this is what they're expecting you to write next. Now, isn't it amazing that this is what we're getting to? So when you hear about a piece of software that can actually predictively tell you what is going to happen inside of your world, in your organization, when it comes to safety, is this something that you would be willing to use? Now, listen, I'm not advocating for any of this stuff. I am just asking if this is something that you would use, saying a piece of software that will tell you this is what your future is going to look like. It's an interesting thought process now when you start thinking about it, because there's a lot of questions that come to mind. There is a lot of things, because now we're going to start basing a lot of things around frequency. So your frequency of this occurring means of the frequency of that potentially occurring in the future. There's a lot of weird stuff to probably sit here and talk about, and we could probably take the next 20 some odd minutes of what's remaining on this show and talk about it. We could probably take the next day or next days and the next couple of weeks and talk about this a little bit more to have a better understanding on how all of this works and how does the data and the machine learning of the whole aspect work out. It's a lot of things to think about when you're sitting there for a moment going, how will this all change the way that my world currently works? Think about that for a fashion. Think about that for a moment, and think about if this is something that you would actually use. There's all kinds of interesting software that's out there to be able to do that. Well, if you want to find out about it, you can just do a nice little googly search, and I'm sure you'll find some things out there. Would love to hear your opinion on that. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. Hey, who knows? Who knows what it might be able to predict for you if that's what you're looking for.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and were not 100% sure on what they meant. Things is mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you.
online, you can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. And they all have one thing in common. Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard, that's optional. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Allison is perfect. I mean, she'd never tell you that. She's humble and perfect. She likes everyone. She even likes her untidy roommate's weird guinea pig. Allison, wait, are you texting and driving? Allison, no. That's the exact opposite of what I was just saying about you. Why, Allison? Why? Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
So do you feel like you're missing out on what everyone is starting to do now, that live streaming thing, and you don't know where to start or what to do? I have the resource and the information to provide to you in regards on how you can stream onto 40 social media platforms all at one time. Yes, that's 40 social media platforms all at one time. All you'll need to do is go to safetyfm.com/1. That's safetyfm.com/1. That's ONE. So just in case, and you'll be able to start live streaming just like you're hearing people starting to do right now, up to 40 social media platforms. Okay, there you go. 43 minutes past the top of the hour. Yeah, this one's called Never or Right Now by Ethel. Yeah, Ethel. Thank you for Ethel for allowing us to play this one here on the Rated R Safety Show. This song's readily available on Spotify and iTunes. You know, it has that synth pop thing going on. Nice little combination of stuff going on. So let's get to it. Let's continue on talking a little bit more about things that are going on inside of this lovely of ours, because there's always a number of things that are happening. Anyway, so let me tell you the most important thing that you're ever going to hear me speak about, so don't worry about that, because this is the way that it goes. Let me tell you about my friends at the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Whether if you have struggled with suicide yourself or have lost a loved one, know that you're not alone. Hear about personal experiences from people in your local community whose lives have been impacted by suicide and depression. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to AFSP.org. That is AFSP.org, or call 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255, or text the word TALK to 741-741. So there you go. All kinds of goodies going on inside of where you can find more information. And why do I say it in that particular fashion? Is because they have so many good stories on that website. They have so many ways on how you can make a difference. They have so many things that you can learn about the facts that are going on inside of the world there. Listen, You can learn about mental health. You can learn about what's going on with the different things with COVID. You can learn on how you can make a difference in your local community. It's such an impactful website. If you get a chance in regards of taking a view of seeing what the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention is doing, you might be impressed overall. So there you go. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of this world as we speak, because there's always some more things that are happening, it seems that way. Anyways, dead giveaway. There's something pretty awesome going on in the city of Miramichi in New Brunswick. Residents have been drawn to their homes into forest and fields, sometimes in broad daylight, sometimes in the middle of the night. Why? Money, of course. The following clues posted on Facebook groups titled Miramichi Mystery Machine, pointing to $100 or $50 bills that have been hidden all over the city of 17,000. The game began with the clue May 1st at 7 p.m. $100 hidden in Ritchie Wharf. Dozens flocked there, and the money was found within hours. Since the creators of the mysterious game has posted a clue a day, a number of people have hunt for cash has grown to hundreds. The clues have grown more cryptic, involving eerie videos or photos of scenes from horror movies. And there's the thing, no one knows who's behind the game, but everyone is definitely excited. Other residents told reporters that it has been the most exciting week in Miramichi in a long time. The Facebook page creator uses Roman Dargervan, and he claims that he's making amends for his family hauntings past, a reference to the ghost story of the 19th century murder of the Providence. He says that on the final installment of the game, to be held on Friday the 13th, will have a bigger than usual payday. This guy is getting your cash almost as difficult as the last boss did. Someone should tell this guy about Apple Pay. It's a lot easier to use. That is for sure. So there you go. What do you think about that one? That's an interesting one. Don't you wish that your town would do something like that? It would make things a little bit more interesting.
You are listening to a Radio God. What? This has to be an error. That host is not a Radio God. Anyways, this is the Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, many expecting couples choose to wait until birth to learn their child's gender, but new research says that it's actually a better idea for the parents to find the baby's sex as soon as possible. That's because doctors say partners can be better equipped to protect their unborn child and themselves from potential pregnancy problems. Babies who are biologically male tend to have more pregnancy complications than girls because they grow faster and need more nutrients or oxygen. 1 in 10 women has life-threatening pregnancy problems, and many of these conditions are treatable if they are caught in time. They result in the results are from the current study of St. John's College suggests that knowing the sex could have long life health benefits for the baby. We walked out of in the ultrasound appointment when the doctor told me it looks like you're pregnant. When I pointed out that I'm a guy, he said it looks like that's what it looks like to me. So I don't know. And on the other hand, if they don't know what the baby's sex is, the rest of us have to go to another pompous, self-involved gender reveal party. Hold on, did I say that out loud? I think I just did. So there you go. So let's talk about some other things that are going on inside of the world here. Teen arrested in connection with 3 kids in California's death. Los Angeles, California, a 16-year-old boy is now behind bars in connection to the murder of 3 children in a home in California. Daniel Martindale has more information.
This neighbor says the mother, who was considered the prime suspect, showed up on her porch on Saturday night holding a candle and a Bible.
She was like a laughing and say, I killed my kids.
Police say the mother of the 12-year-old girl and 2 8-year-old boys admitted to killing them after she was arrested on Sunday. She also says she did it with the teen's help. The boy is believed to be her son. It's unclear exactly when and how the children were killed. I'm Daniel Martindale.
Okay, there you go. Some information of some things going on inside of there. So there you go. Let me talk about this one again just real quick. Alabama corrections officer dead, escaped inmate in custody. An escaped Alabama inmate back behind bars and the guard accused of helping him in the breakout is dead. Before he escaped, That inmate Casey White was facing murder charges in connection to a woman's death back from 2015, and now her son says that he wants answers.
I want to know, kind of what was Casey the manipulator, or was Vicky kind of wanting to have one last escapade before her retirement? Apparently, just what is going on. It makes absolutely no rational sense, right, to try to get the person out with this kind of history.
Okay, that's Austin Williams this morning on the Today Show. Authorities say corrections officer Vicky White, no relation to Casey, shot herself after the two spotted in southern Indiana on Monday. Police chased their vehicle until it crashed. Casey White was taken into custody and will be returned to Alabama. The two had been on the run for over a week and were believed to have been in a romantic relationship. Austin Williams' mother, Connie Ridgway, was allegedly murdered by Casey White, and he's looking for answers on how he was able to escape from custody.
I want to find out what happened. I'm like everybody else.
So there you go. That's some stuff that was going on inside of the world. MTA tells bus drivers to keep the back door closed to help beat fare evasion. MTA bus drivers are being told to keep their back doors closed to help stop fare beaters. The MTA says that around 1/3 of riders now skip out on paying. Riders who pay say that it's unfair. So many get away with free bus rides each way.
There's not one bus that everyone pays. There's always someone who either goes to the back door or passes by the bus driver without paying.
Many skip paying due to the boarding a bus. Though the back through the back door, riders are supposed to enter through the front door where the fare is collected. The MTA says that losing around about $500,000 each day from riders who don't pay. But here's the thing. I mean, if you're not familiar with how this whole thing with the public transportation works, in most public transportation, the drivers are told not to engage with people that don't pay. And I mean, I get it, because you don't want some confrontation thing. In regards of fare evasion, that's something to think about. Anyways, let's get into some motivation stuff. Let's get Johnny Smalls back in here.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by John. Paulo Coelho said, "When we strive to become better than we are, everything around us becomes better too." I like this. It's like the old saying, the high tide rises all the boats. If you do things to improve your life, it can help others too. For example, if you're reading a good book and others notice it, they may be tempted to read that book as well. When the things you're doing begin to pay off, other people will notice and they may follow suit as well. It's a great thing to influence people to better themselves, and it's even better if they were influenced by you because you have bettered yourself. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by AlysaMorgan.com. A new study confirmed the importance of omega-3 supplementation. Older adults who supplemented with 2 grams of daily omega-3 performed better on tests of executive function, had improved white matter microstructural integrity, and increased gray matter volume in their brains after 26 weeks compared to those given a placebo. Additionally, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which is a growth factor involved in learning and memory, has increased. Another study found that approximately 3.4 grams of daily omega-3 led to significantly better cognitive function, including verbal fluency, language, memory, and visual motor coordination over a 30-month period in older adults with a median age of 63. There is no doubt that omega-3 is important for brain health. For additional information, check out AlysaMorgan.com.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. Here's trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, there you go. A lot of stuff going on inside the Motivation Minute, the Wellness Moment, and all that kind of fun stuff. So keep on the lookout for more information because we never know where it is going to take us. Anyways, let's get in through some stuff real quick because we are getting close to the end here. No winner for Friday night's Mega Million drawing. Tonight's drawing will be for $86 million jackpot or a $49.1 million payout. What else do we got going on? Let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. Back in 2017, Apple becomes the first company to be worth more than $800 billion. The milestone comes just 2 years after the company hit the $700 billion mark. So there you go. Anyways, let's talk about some birthdays real quick. Let's jump around. Missy Franklin turns 27. Cassie David turns 28. Halston Sage turns 29. Lindsay Shaw, 33. Let's see. MC Rye turns 44. Bono turns 62. So there you go. That's some birthdays that are going on right now on this day. If you're looking for a reason to celebrate, I am sure I can come up with some of those for you. National Clean Up Your Room Day. National Lipid Day. National Shrimp Day. What else? And National Washington. Let's see. National Washington Day. So there you go. So some stuff to do. That is for sure. So some reasons to celebrate. Let's get you out of here. At the top of the hour, I will be going over to Safety FM. No, that's not true. I'll be going over to Radio Big, exclusively doing our music show. If you hang out on Safety FM, there will be some other things that are going on for sure over there inside of the world of safety. So there is no doubt on what you can and cannot do on that side of the equation. Anyways, if you need a phone starter for today, I got that for you. What is something that you thought would be a piece of cake until you tried it? If you need a random joke for today, I have one of those as well. The man who invented Velcro has died. RIP. Okay, rest in peace. Got it. If you need a question for the water cooler, try this one. 35% of adults say this is this one thing they look forward to each day. What is it? Checking their mail. How is checking your mail one of the things? So how's that like a highlight for you? I mean, I don't get it. So I mean, maybe I don't know. I'm just saying, it's one of those things. So anyways, thank you for taking a listen to what we have going on today, because it's always exciting when you're here. If you're not here, it's not as exciting. Thank you for all the people that are hanging out across the multiverse that we have going on. For some reason, there's a lot of people that like to hang out on the Twitch side of the world, but there you go. So that's what's going on. Anyways, if I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. Change may not always bring growth, but there is no growth without change. Think about that. Or simulated the way that you need to do that. Anyways, that's all I have going on today. Love to see you at the top of the hour at Radio Big. If you want to come over, that's over to radiobig.fm, or you can just go directly to TuneIn Radio. So there you go. God willing, I'll be back tomorrow, and we'll take it all from there. Anyways, I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love ya, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.
But everyone says that it's